Hey guys, welcome back to Clash with Barndo. I did miss the MLCW recap last week, and I'm going to go through what I can see there. So you see Aussie Woot Woot versus Red Rhinos. Now this was quite a bad loss. Red Rhinos did get a high 96%, I think roughly, on one of the Town Hall 10s, but didn't get any 3 stars, and Woot Woot struggled at the 9s with the meta and all that kind of stuff. Now this week, let's have a quick look. Aussie Woot Woot versus Odin's Bloodline. Now, I thought this war was probably a bit rough on Woot Woot's side again versus the Town Hall 9s. Now, we had some of the big players that usually perform, didn't perform. Ricochet, Elite, Gundiver, Wazzy, even Ryan down the bottom there, and Zeph. All of them had no stars, no 3 stars or anything like that. So, yeah, it just wasn't that good. Town Hall 10s only used 4 hit downs. Now, what was funny is if we had have got a 2-star 70% from Ricochet on the number 2 there, we would have actually stolen the win there for Woot Woot's side. But yeah, definitely no good there. So let's have a look through the defends for this. So you can see 4 attacks on both Gun Tank and Ben. That means they had Town Hall 10 versus 10 action. They did a lot of fresh hit 3 stars. It was 7 versus 8 to their side. But really it just came down to the overall defences. You see there 2 lots of 3 defences, 4 defences on base number 5. Now going through their attacks, they did have numerous 6-star wars, and then if you have a look at the defences on their side for Odin's, you can see 4 down the bottom there, 6, 3, 3, 3. Just wasn't good enough. You should never ever need 6 hits on a Town Hall 9. So a bit of work at the drawing board. Communication definitely wasn't there. Let's have a look at some of the recaps. We see Kimmy doing a witch slap with healers on their number 7. So, I mean, seeing it was quite a bad weekend overall for Aussie Clash. We had 2 of our ACA lose this weekend, and Aussie Addicts took their 2nd loss in CWL. But I can see a lot of similarities between our 4 or 5 clans failing on certain key points. You can see Hound coming out of the clan castle here. Hounds are really a large part of Town Hall 9s at the moment. I'm seeing more and more Hounds each week. I have commented on it, and some people are struggling to use an army that succeeds versus a Hound on a re-hit, and it really does my head in to see it. And that's where I think people need to communicate with each other and stuff like that. You see Kimmy here took the Hound on the outside. This base is set up for witch slap. These guys, a lot of their fresh hit 3s were witch slaps, which is exactly that. You throw your witches and your healers down, you slap them on the table and you go for it. So really from there as you're playing your spells, but that means that they've got the meta down pat fairly well. But when they've failed them, they did really well at the re-hits. So I only had to do, there was 3 bases with numerous attacks versus them, and they got them there. So that gave them a chance to do a lot of hitting up top. So what was impressive, that both low-scale Town Hall 10s, they weren't high-weight Town Hall 10s. They're not trying to bully anyone like that. They're just obviously using their players. So it was definitely big ups to Odin's Bloodline this week. I mean, Red Rhinos last week absolutely smashed Woot Woot and proved a few. Again, there was a lot of problems with basic metas. And it's things that we need our players across all of our Aussie clans to sort of get on there and see the base designs and to have a bit of a crack. You see a stoned Go Hobo here. Now what was interesting, 3 golems all dead before he got inside the base, mainly due in fact to the fact that there was a high amount of storages in there. Generally you don't hit into storages because of that exact reason. You lose all your tanks before you get in the field, but he'll sneak this raid through, mainly based on the fact that he didn't just spam all his hogs down. He was quite surgical with these. Eiffel's done well. He's had a few struggling wars. Skelly spell probably used in a bit of a silly spot right there. Probably would have been better just throwing that straight onto the mortar. In the end, the Queen is going to push that King. She's going to break through. The Archers are going to get in front. Enemy King gives her a bit of a slap and tickle, and then it's just a matter of getting the DPS through. So struggled through, but you see it was a successful hit, and that's from a good plan. Fresh hit. Did well, struggled with those Teslas at the front as well, getting that extra damage. So good hit there, Eiffel. Nick, one of the 6 packers as well, so was Eiffel. Nick did both his fresh and they were queen walks with a Golar loon. Sorry, with a lava loon. And what was impressive was his other hit was probably better than this attack. But what I liked about there is there's something I'm going to show about a failed queen walk raid into a success. So gets his early rage down to take on the enemy queen. He's only got the one poison, taking the extra haste spell. That's good. It fixes up your scroll bar. I love to do it that way as well. Takes in the max poison. That's going to be for the clan castle. Also means if he's got a hound in the clan castle, he may not have to use it on that hound. He doesn't waste two. So you can see out comes the poison. It's a baby witch clan castle. Probably the second most common clan castle I'm seeing at the moment. Now the queen, unfortunately, she opens up the air defences to the healers, and then that means that she's going to be struggling there to get them through. So you can see now she's really struggling to get into those walls. She's got 2-point defences, loses that extra healer, and that's going to be it for her in the end. The lava loon section's really well. The loons are really well tapped out. You can see there the 2 loons at that 3 o'clock section. They're put off anywhere from where you're anywhere where your hounds are going to be parking in. So perfect. Now, this is one of the little things I like to say to people. If your queen walk fails, have your old king, Jimmy Bog, put him down somewhere where you're going to benefit from those healers. Sometimes you might lose a healer, a queen at the start of a raid, unfortunately, but then don't do something stupid where you take your healer from there and drag it all the way over to the other side of the base with ground units. So he did utilise it at the end, didn't really play a factor into the 3-star, but just a little bit of a show and tell. So what I'll do, I'll pause and we'll go on to the next replay. Now I'm over here at Hired Goons. Last week they had NY Zombie Squad, and then this week they've had LP6 Pegasus. You see there the win last week, 44-34. Not too sure what happened with Zombie Squad. I did notice they had a 9.5 in instead of one of their Town Hall 10s. Not too sure whether that was planned or not, but obviously they're 9 games a bit out of it. They're one of these smaller clans that like to have a bit of a crack. So Hired Goons dealt with them and got a 3-star on the Town Hall 10s. I didn't get to see it though. We see this week 43 versus 43, LP6 Pegasus. Won on percentage by 0.13. So a fanny hair getting through there. You see the 73-76, both done by Town Hall 10s. And you can see here 68%, 83%. So 68% from one of their Town Hall 9s has sort of gone through there and made that a good chance for a nice percentage on there. Looking through the statistics, you can see there all 10s were on Town Hall 10s. So they've gone for 3-star attempts. Maybe that last hit was done for percentage. Let's have a look where that was. Yep, second last attack for Goons. And that meant that Ashley on the opponents there had the chance to be able to win the war. Didn't get the percentage they needed. But you see a fresh hit from Dan there, 6-pack from Mark DS as well. Fresh running bear, same again. So lots of 6-pack wars. And we have a look down at the defences. You can see 3, 3, 6. Yeah, so I mean, they did sort of struggle there. 6 attacks on a base, and I think that took a dip. So 3 of their Town Hall 10s hitting Town Hall 10s. So it was a good war all round. You can see a fresh 6-pack there. Another fresh 6-pack, another 6-pack. So these guys have done all right, you know. It would have been a really fun war. I didn't get to see too much of it. Pretty busy on my trip. And you can see what's really impressive here. All 1s and 2s. All 1s and 2s. Bar that one base there. Number 3 took 3 hits. So really impressive war for Goons to come off and make sure that if they didn't clear it the first hit, they've got it on the second hit. Okay, you'll see just a little bit of a glitch there. I had to quickly watch through the replays. Now we can see here, Dan, this is one of my attacks. You can see it's based on the Queen Walk Heavy Hog Tail, 23 hogs, Clan Castle hogs. Now, the reason I've done it how I've done it here is, the idea is I want to draw the enemy king first. I've got my little drawing here. So I want to draw king first. So he's going to need 1 poison. Usually you would take 1 poison, 1... skeleton spell for the tail queen, but by using a poison there on the enemy king means you didn't need to use ability, you didn't need to use a rage, and you're clear to keep going. And then you use the other poison somewhere in the middle there, and that's going to get going on the clan castle. So you can see the first poison there did well, and this queen, she's going to get a whole lot in there. A little bit slow on that poison in the end, Definitely slow on the rage. You can see the ability having to be used. So used everything to get in there. Jimmy Bob thrown down. What a lot of bases have at the moment is they have offset Tesla farms to try to trick people into getting into the heroes and giving you that hard section at the end there. Double giant bomb on the hogs. Went through there like a boss. And you can see getting that third heel out. Now, the enemy queen, she doesn't have a lot of point defense around her, so the hogs are just kind of ignoring her and running around. Jimmy Bob's going to come down and tank for the two wizards there, and they're going to do a job and say, thank you, mother, for the rabbits. You can see still quite a lot of hogs left, so good read of the base, really high value queen walk. So what I'm going to do is I'll show that there. We do have sometimes people doing these queen walks where they're a little bit off place, and what you can see here, let's get my little drawing pen up. So you can see with the queen walk you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 defenses straight away. With your 2 there you've got 6 defenses. That's 3 point defense, 3 splash. That doesn't really matter with the air defense, but you're also going to get the king, you're going to get the clan castle. That's the important bits. King in the clan castle therefore means you've got that whole chunk of base sorted out, so when you go to do your walk, you can then throw in your king. Old Jimmy Bob, he's going to come in here and he's going to have a look. He's going to be tanking this point defense, he's going to be tanking this defense, he's going to be tanking this defense. All of those are going to be tanked, and then that way you just send in your 2 stink fingers to go through the base, sort of like that effect. So you see there a good analysis of the walk managed to lead into that one. So I have seen a few other walks watching, and these haven't been the best, but that was definitely one analysed there. Let's have a look at Vasto. This has got the old shit yeah on the raid from me. Loved it when I saw it. 2 golems, 2 healers. What I love about this is 2 healers on a golem. Love it. Absolutely love seeing healers on golems. You don't see them often now. What that means is that golem's successfully tanking 3 point defenses, 2 wizard towers, and allowing the rest of his troops to get in there fairly easily. He's going to lose his golem in the end. It's going to be too much damage for the 2 healers, but that means that the healers are then going to swap over to the other golem, and he's going to get that carry on. He's got a good funnel. In go his heroes. It's a golem in the enemy clan castle, so that's going to get chewed up. You don't see those too often these days. They were sort of better when Valks with the rage. Obviously with the split effect, hounds have been a lot more popular. So you can see now the healers, they're going to go into air defense territory. That's going to struggle with there. The enemy queen, give him a bit of a grief in the middle there, giving him a few licks. I love this. Look at these 2 loons, and the hound dropped absolutely perfectly. Unluckily there was 2 heat seekers there. Maybe didn't need to use his hound at that stage. Instead the queen definitely would have got it, but then she would have taken fire from that cannon. So you see there, still has the queen ability, comes up the end there, enemy queen's pew-pewing away, drops his ability down and says thank you mother for the rabbit. So a good fresh hit there from Vasto. Great raid all round. Love seeing healers on golems. You just don't see it often enough. When you can get them out there, you're going to sort of enjoy it. So we'll have a look at number 10 next. This is Running Bear. Fairly basic style attack. The Go Hobo. 2 golems, 21, so a good healthy chunk of hogs. Only the 1 heal, so going with the double option jump. What I'm guessing, I've just flicked through this one quickly. What I'm guessing is the double jump will be the entry point. Let's have a look where he goes. We'll get the drawing pen going. So we see sending the golems in there. So I'm guessing this is where his jump's going to be to start off with. You can see that enemy queen. What's good is that the enemy queen's not pushing him at the start. I like that. One of those golems does walk that to the mortar. So this is where he's going to start taking a fair chunk of damage. Do we see the poison used on the queen? No. That means he's lost most of his tanking at that stage. 1 poison down for the enemy clan castle, which was a baby, and that second jump. Not a lot of tanking space left, but a good use of his hogs. You can see here he's going surgically. He's not just spamming them all down. He's going surgical. Bomb towers taken out by the kill squad. That's nice. And you can see there's still plenty of hogs coming up. Plenty of hogs. Drops down another few and gets that heal. There was a giant bomb on that Tesla farm. Heavy amount of bombs over in this spot, wasn't there? But you can see good cleanup. Couple of whizzies down the bottom going for it. Queen got stuck in the middle. Had an ability to pop that for the trash. But yeah, good fresh 3 from Running Bear. Great war all round from Goons. Lucky to win through on percentage there. It would have come down to the final attacks. People would have been sitting in their seats. These are the kinds of wars they're about. So we'll pause now and we'll go to the next one. Okay, and last but not least this week, we've got Down Under. Last week they took on Temple Rising 43 to 41, so they mustn't have cleared all the nines, and just a regular war from Down Under, not huge percentages. You can see there today, Down Under versus Red Rhinos just finished a few hours ago, 40 to 44. So let's have a look at that. 44 means they've gotten a gotten a 3-star, and you can see that player Wahad. Not really a max base, whereas of course they do have the 2 max base in Red Rhinos. Unfortunately, Down Under didn't have a second one available, so they've just gone in with a lower base, and it sort of helped, but it was a good raid, definitely a good raid. I'll let you guys see that on the Red Rhinos replays. They do a YouTube as well. So what I noticed in this war was it was 3 fresh hits to Down Under on the 9s versus 7 on Red Rhinos. So even with Red Rhinos, that wasn't a huge number of fresh hits. You can see their player Wahad hit down fail. D-Ash both with the what a noob. You can see D-Ash there, 2 fresh hit opens on the Town Hall 9s hit downs. So that's a bit of a strategy, which is decent. Definitely, if you're going to use hit downs, it's always better for a Town Hall 10 to hit fresh, rather than wasting 9s attacks, opening all the different bases and not getting them. So really, it came down to the defences, the multiple defences, which we're seeing in a lot of our clans. You can see here, they only had 2 bases with 4 and 3 on defending from Red Rhino's side of things. But we'll go straight to the defences there while I'm talking about it. You can see 5, 4, 3, 4. So a lot of defences put into those 4 bases, and some of them weren't finished off. So it was just a bit unlucky. You can see for 6 packs, Red Rhinos, they had 5 guys with 6 packs. Whereas, where are we? Down Under had Bulb, Snoop Pigeon. Now, Snoop Pigeon had an unlucky, he had an unlucky CWL for the weekend, had nothing, and then comes back to have a 6-pack the following war. So it's really impressive to have that kind of turnaround. Good to see. And Benji there with a 6-pack as well. Now, let's get into the attacks. Definitely a big up to Red Rhinos. I think these guys are going to be hard to beat. They're an all-round unit. They can get 10v10s. They had a big 10v10 almost. It was a 96% last week. So they're definitely reading the bases. Now, what I liked here was Snoop Pigeon gone in with a pecker walk. You just don't see the old pecker walk too often. Starts at the baby dragons. Now that's a good view. You can see that queen. She doesn't come into aggro to start off with. And that baby dragon does end up giving her a bit of a touch-up. So you could just about have used a second baby dragon there. Didn't really need 2 poisons for this army. With those healers on the peckers and the queen hitting those peckers, excuse me, she didn't really need it. You can see the hound in the clan castle. And the second phase is hogs. So there is a second phase. A lot of people do these walks. They just take in extra peckers and extra healers and things like that. But the good hogs have meant that he's had a bit of a tail and he's able to swing into those defences. That there's still 1 healer left and topping up those peckers and king. And you can see out comes that heal. But unfortunately with that Tesla farm, those skelly traps there, that's just going to work those hogs down and they're going to drop out. So peckers and king, they do go slow versus the old skeleton traps. That was the initial inception of them. But you can see 1 pecker, very lucky that pecker walked up top. But because of that healer being on there pretty much the whole raid, 2 peckers, queen, still at full health, and thank you mother for the rabbit. So a nice concept of a raid there. It's something that I've never done. I've never done a pecker walk. I do golem healer walks myself, but yeah, never done a pecker walk. So great raid there from Snoop. And I was going to look at the next one that I had a bit of a laugh and chuckle at was number 13, and we can see an offset air defense base. Now he's going to go in with 3 golems, clan castle bowlers, and then the heroes to go in with those, and just baby dragon loon the side. So great concept to a raid. Good way of taking the fact that all of the air defences are out. Now what he didn't know was where the traps were, and you'll see later on through that the traps were all up the side. That's a common feature of these styles of bases, is that you don't put the heat seekers down with the air defences and you try to trick these styles of raids. but it hasn't worked out for him in the end because he's used those loons to go with his baby dragons. So you see the golems up there doing a fair whack of work. Tesla Farm on the queen from that side, so they're going to do a fair whack of damage, but has that heal as well. And you can see now the baby dragons, loon starting to go through, and you can see just keeps trickling through those. So gets those loons out. Golem still in midfield stuck. Jimmy Bob stuck. But the baby dragon's just doing a lot of damage because they're all separated. Unfortunately, the wizard tower eating through those golems and golemites. But not a lot left now. Has to pop the queen ability. Out comes that last, second last heat seeker. There's the last one. And yeah, really great concept. So down under, unfortunately taking the loss here. Not sure where everyone is in the rankings so far. But all teams, you know, it's one of those things. We've got a lot we've got to pick up for in the Aussie Alliance. But everyone's having a good old crack. So hope you guys enjoyed and clash on.
I saw, I came, I conquered, or should I say